some advice, Rockhead. Make
Um,
sure you get drunk or hit a stick of PCP before you go over there.
Ooh, you saw Alien? Keep shit cool, nigga. Everybody fun,
yeah. Light your blunts, get your drinks. The show's about to begin. Welcome to the Goose Show. We got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show. They abducting the human race. Aliens appearing and moving in outer space. Ancient text mentions them sharing wisdom with all. But humans don't be listening, rather start them a war. Fucking off the planet, pollution causing the damage. I'm chilling in Pomona where homies talking in Spanish. Let the world know about Pomona teaching the math. Shout out to Kev Mac, on my Bradley and my kids. My wife and two, because they know I'm a survivor. 5 shots couldn't take me down cause I'm a rider. Then was on the ventilator, still I had to rise up. Telling y'all the truth, man, I'm here to remind you. It's only up for me from now to the future. Thanks for your support and I'ma give you what you used to. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding what they demanding. So look out for the aliens, they landing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show.
Welcome to the Goob Show. I am Goob, representing Pomona in these YouTube streets. Shout out to everybody that's in come in tonight. We're going to talk about this interstellar object that's in our skies, or in our solar system, should I say. The government doesn't talk too much about it. People don't realize NASA did have a DART mission a few years ago. First of all, let me shout out to King Real for my intro. Shout out to Kev Mac, Rockhead, and Slick with his ABD show. Go check him out. You know what I'm saying? They're going to always be in my intro. You know what I'm saying? Because, of course, that's where I came off of and started my platform with the joke of a nigga fucking with the back of the moon. So I have a 2-part little show that I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about this interstellar object that's in our solar system. I'm going to also talk about them occupying or trying to occupy the moon. I'm talking about nuclear weapons that they were trying to put onto the moon that they haven't told us about. This has been happening since 1960 something. But you don't hear too much about it. People don't speak about it, and we get that. Of course, the news is not going to report too much about this interstellar object that's almost a 1/4 mile wide or long. 10 times, no, it's a 1/4 mile long and it's wide, but it's 10 times the length of its width. Any guide, I appreciate you stopping through. But I do want to get into, this internet shit. This internet shit is a trip. Because people that's content creators are supposed to have a specific association, or you're supposed to be befriend, if you befriend others that may be getting into with other people, you're supposed to have a significant, uh, some type of loyalty on these internet streets. There is no loyalty on these internet streets. If people don't see that throughout a lot of the content creators, then you know. For me, I'm just a friendly type nigga. I like to go on anybody's platform. I'ma shoot out if you talking some good shit. I'ma shoot out your platform. I'm a roll with you. I'm gonna roll with you to an extent though. Extent to see how far you gonna fuck with me as I'ma fuck with you. Since I'm not monetized, I don't have to wait that 2 minutes to start cussing. Fuck it. I know what my platform is here for. My platform is not here for bullshit or beefs. Because we don't know what is beef. How far does beef go on this internet shit? Everybody should have their own lane on this internet shit. Everybody should be able to do what they do, go where they want to. You shouldn't be tagged or associated with somebody that might have a beef with somebody else. Even in neighborhoods, it's not like that. And even in neighborhoods, there's cliques. You might have a group of people that's here. We all from the same neighborhood. We don't get along. It's the same thing on this internet. Shit. Everybody don't get along. Everybody doesn't like what other people are saying. I try to fuck with all black content creators on this internet shit. If you black, I'm gonna try to fuck with you. I'm gonna salute to your platform. I'm gonna do all that. I'm gonna figure out if you enough to fuck with me as much as I'm gonna fuck with you. If not, then I'm gonna back the fuck off. Because I think that you think, hey, this nigga is weird because my content might be something different. This content right here of what I do is to awaken those that may not be awakened to it. A lot of people that's out there, you got to understand, street people don't look at the news a whole lot. I mean, I was young. I didn't look at the news at all. I didn't care what was going on in society at that time. I was in them streets. A lot of these young niggas that's on this internet, they still in them streets. They fuck with this internet, but they in them streets. So since I'm older, I'm an old nigga on this YouTube, as they say. My lane is totally different. And today, I want to talk about this interstellar object that's in our atmosphere that the government ain't even talking about. But even the Pentagon has said there's something out there that's sending these orbs. Henny Guy Slick, Tiny Pumpkin, appreciate y'all stopping through, bro. For sure. I appreciate y'all. It may be a wonder why they ain't said nothing about the 3 objects that they shot down. They definitely said something about the balloon. The China balloon, they said something about that. They even showed us the particle, the evidence of what they shot down. They showed them going out on the boat, pulling out the water, putting it on the boat. They did all that. They haven't showed us the other 3 objects that they shot down. I want to show y'all is that the Pentagon said that they may be sending probes to our planet. Were them some of the probes that they shot down? And then there's an object that they've known since 2017 that came into our solar system that's a quarter of a mile long. But they don't talk about this object. Now they're saying, oh, it's Amamau, which came from the telescopes over in Chile and Hawaii. And Hawaii named them Oahu. I'm going to show you a video of that. But I definitely want to show you, first of all, this actual article. Alien motherships may be sending probes to Earth. Pentagon is saying that. A lot of people overlook that shit like, they just talking. UFO chief posts with Harvard professor in a draft paper. So they wrote it in a draft paper. They put it out there. But we overlooked it. Dre too much. Clip God. Appreciate you stopping through. Anybody ain't fuck with go over there and fuck with this Damo homie and his platform, man. He, I'm gonna stay on his good side so the nigga don't clip me. You know what I'm saying? These interstellar objects are fascinating. Like, I'm finna show that right now, Andrew Charles. Just give me a couple minutes. But the Pentagon has already put it out there before this evidence right here of this video that I'm about to show you guys that they've known has been there since 2017 in our solar system, rolling around. Looks nothing like an asteroid, looks nothing like a comet, but certainly looks like something that could be a mothership. Something that certainly could look like a mothership. But of course, us as humans on this planet, we don't believe that shit could be truthful. We think we the top motherfuckers on this earth, that we run everything. And that's why I have a 2-part on this live that I'm going to do tonight. One is about this interstellar object, and the second one is going about us trying to occupy the moon. And the moon is something the same as Antarctica. Nobody has control of it. Yet somebody is going to try to conquer it, because as humans, we are conquerors. Miss 702, appreciate you stopping through. Appreciate it. But let's get into this video. I want y'all to look at this, man. Like I said, they've been knowing about this interstellar object, which is almost a quarter mile long. This is the object. It's an animated view of an interstellar object immediately after its discovery. Telescopes around the world, including ESO's very large telescope in Chile, were called into action to measure this object. This is the first confirmed object to measure from another star to visit our solar system. This interstellar interloper appears to be rocky, star shaped, with somewhat of a reddish hue. But yet, just earlier this year, NASA's DART mission did the first planetary defense system test. And they shot a rocket that was 7 million miles away from us. They shot it to knock it off course, just in case an asteroid or something. And the asteroid that they hit was the Morpheus. But they shot that object and hit it to knock it off course just to see if they could avoid if an asteroid was coming towards Earth. They just want to see. They don't know what they did. Now, they went 7 million miles away from us. They don't know what they did. It's going to take them 4 years to figure out whatever they did to this asteroid that they hit, if it had any effect of knocking it off course or doing anything. They don't even know. They don't even know if it could have messed up anything in that solar system. We just tried that. Yet, we have this object in our solar system they're not trying to knock down. They're not trying to send nothing. Is it because they think they know what it is? Because it surely doesn't look like anything an asteroid could be. It don't look like a meteor. Is this what the Pentagon is talking about? Yeah, there's a mothership that's in our solar system sending out probes. The same 3 probes, some of the 3 probes that they shot at, or the probes that we see daily in our skies that people are videotaping on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, that y'all seeing in the skies just floating. That's orbs that we consider orbs. Black Money Core, appreciate you stopping through, my brother. Good content over there, man. If y'all haven't subscribed to his channel, man, go check him out, man. You know what I'm saying? Very knowledgeable brother. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of brothers I try to fuck with on this YouTube shit. Even though I fuck with everybody, I like that intellectual shit. The same as me. We don't get as much viewers as the people on that bullshit or that controversy or that this. You don't get that. I'm not expecting that. I don't get it. This object here is something that you need to look at. That is really strange. It's awfully big. It is 10 times as long as it is wide. This object is called, I can never get this name, Oumuamua. It's 10 times as long as it is wide. That aspect ratio right there is greater than any asteroid or comet observed in our solar system to this date. While it's unlike any other object seen in our solar system, it may provide new clues, as they say, into how other solar systems are built or made, if that's what they're saying. But at the same time, the Pentagon has just said, there's a mothership that's sending orbs over our planet. Now, this object is in our solar system. We just tried to shoot down something 7 million miles away. This is not 7 million miles away. It's right here by us. Why are we not trying to shoot that down? Why we ain't sending rockets up there to go hit that? Do they know what they assume that may be? Because anything can cloak themselves into what you may think is a different look. And I'm going to show you that when I get to this moon aspect of colonizing the moon and what we were trying to do back in the 60s. You'll hear it. They say it's self-propelled. Yes, it's moving on its own. It's not associated with anything else. That's the strange thing, Black Money Core, that they're saying. This object is moving by itself, and they don't even know why. As big as it is, its movements are different than anything else in our solar system. Welcome to the platform, Janet. Appreciate you stopping through. Miss 702 say, hey, BMC. Hey, Miss Gould. Shouts out to y'all. But this object, wherever it came from, they say has been moving for thousands of years, possibly millions of years. We don't know. We don't have that technology to even know how long this object has moved. We know it's in our solar system. And like I say, this is an animated view, and it'll show how it's coming into our solar system. But what is it? That's what they not explaining. To me, when it turns a certain way and they show the picture of the top of it, it's different from what you're looking at on the side of it. It looked like there could be a cockpit. There could be. That's just my speculation. It could be anybody else's speculation. That's for you to say. The thing of it is why is it in our solar system? Why did it come here? And why are now we seeing multiple different objects on a daily basis in our sky? People report. This is not me talking. This is videos that I've posted as shorts. If you look at any of my shorts, I post a whole lot that people are seeing little orbs in the sky. Wouldn't we do that? We're doing that now in a war. Now we can send out drones, what we call drones. To them, they could be the same thing as drones. Why would they come to our planet not really knowing what our planet is? Are we aggressive? Well, now they know that we're aggressive because we just shot their ass, 3 of them down. But if you look at the twist, whether it's animated or not, it looks awfully strange on this top. To me, it looks awfully strange on the top. This is what's in our solar system. Don't look like an asteroid. Damn sure don't look like a meteor. All they're calling it now is an interstellar object in our solar system roaming around. But yeah, they'll go 7 million miles away to shoot out when their DART program, they bypassed any of this. Even though they knew about this object since 2017. They knew that this object was in our atmosphere. or in our solar system. We haven't touched it. We haven't. We just gonna let it roll. But see, that's no problem when it comes to the moon, which is also another aspect of interstellar um, living, because it's very interesting that black folks. I'm gonna run this one more time. It's very interesting that rich folks are trying to get to the moon now after 50 years, even though they were trying 50 years ago to occupy the moon. What's good with you? Get them, Jane. Appreciate you stopping through. What would be the closest turn or easiest route for us once we got to the moon? We can get anywhere from the moon to somewhere else. But I want you to listen to a guy that says something about try to occupy. And I'm gonna get to that. I think that we've already tried to occupy the moon. Whatever this object is that's twisting around, it's the strangest thing that the government don't want to talk about. The news is not speaking on. They're only saying the minimum of what they could tell us. They're only gonna tell us the minimum. They're not gonna tell us a whole thing that's going on. Just tapping in. That's cool. Get them, Jake. I appreciate you tapping in for them couple seconds, man. You know what I'm saying? Just hit the like button on your way out before you go to sleep, bro. I appreciate it. But this object is, you have to say it's unexplainable. You have to say it's whatever you think. It's definitely can't say that's just an asteroid. You can't say that's a comet. So what they changed it to a word that they just made up, interstellar object. Oh, okay. Well, what is this interstellar object? They don't know. Why? Because shit like that, if they have the technology to morph themselves or do whatever we don't know what it is. It looks like a big ass long rock to me. Yet, how was it formed? How is it moving if it's by itself? Kev's Clubhouse, appreciate you stopping through, It should be just like the Morpheus and Demise, the ones that we sent a rocket 7 million miles away, 7 million light years away from us, and we shot down just to knock it off course to see if that's what we could do. They look nothing like this. They were oval. They were circular. This is elongated. This is long. This looks more like a Star Trek ship. Even if you just look at it, you'll be like, ah, shit. That looks like some shit we seen on Star Trek. But they won't really tell us the whole evidence. But now, like I said, the Pentagon has said it. There's something above us sending out probes, orbs, or whatever you want to call that. And we're seeing everybody is seeing. Not everybody, because niggas that say this, yeah, you do weird shit because you believe in UFOs shit. They ain't seeing shit. All I tell them, Nigga, when you see it, just say that shit is out there. Just like a whole bunch of other platforms that I mentioned. That like this UFO analogy, you have to say to yourself, man, there's some weird shit in our solar system. But it's just coming out now. More and more will come out. The more we see, more. But you gotta understand, most people don't look up. Most of us don't look up. We're too worried about the person in front of us. We're too worried about looking down not to trip over something. But if you take that time to drink that alcohol, drink that beer, smoke that joint, sit in your chair and just look up for a couple hours, an hour or so, you may see something go across the sky. And the only reason I'm asking about it is because I've seen it. My wife's seen it. My best friend seen it. Those same probes and orbs that they're talking about are being sent out for us. Their technology is way past anything that we ever know on this earth. So we can have all the violence we want on this earth. People can have these multiple guns, killing everybody, shooting up schools, doing all that. That doesn't have nothing to do with gonna hit this earth sooner or later and show themselves. And the only reason they're showing themselves now is because we are potentially more victims on every aspect of this earth. Every country or nation is getting into it with another nation. Period, point blank. We have massive shit going on that people just kind of overlook. But we have a lot of countries that have nuclear weapons. And they're using them nuclear weapons in nefarious ways. And that's what they're trying to tell us, because they could be way past whatever futuristic shit you think about. They could be. I don't know. I'm just assuming. They can't. Yes, Monique Hill. Appreciate you stopping through. They can't hide the truth no more. People better get ready. Hey, they're basically easing the shit out to us. That's the crazy thing. And now I want to get to this video. Because like I said, I'm not going to hold y'all on a long time. I don't come on that often. So I only want to do maybe an hour. That's it. You know what I'm saying? On my bullshit. Let me move this one and move this one out. On that. Now I'm going to bring up something. This is an Apollo map of the moon. I just want y'all to look at it before I bring this video up and let him speak about what's going on the moon. I've always talked about that was the whole joke. Like I say, shout out to my nigga Kev Mac. I started my platform fucking with him and they jokes, and I figured, you know what? They joke on me so much about me saying the back of the moon, nigga, I need to start my own platform because I believe in it so wholeheartedly. I believe that their stop is the back of the moon because we don't see anything on the back of the moon. Sounds funny, sounds strange, but we as humans are conquerors. Why would we try to conquer the moon? Why do we? Because we try to conquer everything else. So I want y'all to look at this. And I want y'all to just take into it. I already put it into a certain position. And I want y'all to look at this. This would look like a city to most. Hold on. Oh shit, what I do? Give me some time. Hold on. Let me let it. Let me let it go back. I done blanked the screen. I done blanked the screen. Hold on. Oh shit. Y'all give me 1 second. That's what it is. I blew it up too big. I'm gonna go down a little bit. Now I want y'all to look at this. First of all, I want y'all to look at this object right here in the screen. Now, doesn't look really like anything, but to me it looks like buildings. Whatever is giving off this shadow that's making it far, you can tell that these little white objects right here are tall because they're giving off this shadow. I'm gonna go out a little bit more. I want y'all to look at this object here. That's circular. Looks like a tube. That's not in the air. That's not in the air. That's from the ground up. We just happen to see this top part, which looks like some type of smoke pipe that you would see. Smoke. Look at the shadow that goes out. What is that? Would that look like buildings to y'all? That looks like buildings to me. So I'm gonna move over a little bit. I'm gonna scan this way. You go out just a little tad bit. And I want y'all to look at this. Does that not look like a bridge right there? And if you was in a city, this might be the county building in front right here. This looked like a bridge. You can see the shadow of it coming out. And then you can kind of see this white part that looks like something's underneath. This is actually the moon. This is the moon from a different angle. But these look like buildings. This look like, and listen, I'm not trying to say that that's what it is. What I'm trying to show you is there's a possibility of cloaking, of changing what may look like what your eye don't see. Y'all's chosen. Salute to you, my brother. Right? So now that you've seen that picture, whether you believe it or not, that's up to you. I'm not trying to make anybody say it. I'm telling you, this is the moon, just in a different angle. It just has certain objects that don't make any sense. Look at this right here. Don't this look like platforms that's going out? You can see the shadow underneath the platforms right here. This would look like a whole city if you didn't know that was the moon, right? It's the angle that I turned the camera on here. I can bring it back to let y'all see. It's nothing more than the northern tip of the back of the moon. That's what the top of the moon looks like. If you've seen it from space, you was like, them ain't nothing but craters. Well, why they have certain things in these craters? Here. Why is there something in this crater here? Right? That don't look like buildings to you? Okay, well they don't. That don't look like something in this crater that possibly could be buildings? I don't know. That's all like I said. But here's where I want y'all to look at this video. After seeing what I just showed you, that was on the top of the moon, the top back of the moon, not the front side of the moon. That's the back top of the moon from the back side, 180 degrees behind what you see on the regular moon. Now I want y'all to check out this video right here, and you'll understand what I'm saying.
On the moon and exploded for scientific measurements and other things, which was not acceptable to the extraterrestrials.
And what happened?
They destroyed the weapon before it got to the moon. The idea of any explosion in space by any Earth government was not acceptable to the extraterrestrials, and that has been demonstrated over and over.
Welcome to the world of secrecy. A Michigan State University economist teamed up with multiple researchers, including Catherine Austin Fitts, former Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. They found trillions of unaccounted for dollars missing from housing and DoD and going towards black budget programs. We are talking about Special Access Programs, SAP. We have unacknowledged and waived SAPs. These programs do not exist publicly, but they do indeed exist. They are better known as deep black programs. A 1997 U.S. Senate report described them as so sensitive that they are exempt from the standard reporting requirements to the Congress. I'm mentioning this stuff because whatever is happening regarding the moon, you can bet that it's being funded by trillions of dollars from within these deep black budget programs. We'll get to some of that information later, but first, let's draw our attention to a strange WikiLeaks document titled Report That You Are...
You guys remember WikiLeaks? WikiLeaks, they was trying to get rid of dude. Dude is not even in America. Dude is still held up in another country because he can't even come here because he has too much information that the government doesn't want out. He knows if he comes back here, they're going to lock his ass up for life or try to kill him.
Our destroyed secret U.S. base on Moon. Unfortunately, the document is not an electronic document. Therefore, its entire contents are not available online. For anybody truly interested in reading the entire thing, a Freedom of Information Act request, FOIA, may be in order. Without speculating here, we can conclude that this is what it says it is. A report regarding possible space wars that are taking place in the classified world. The document title alone not only exposes the reality of these alleged wars, but the possibility of a secret moon base belonging to the United States.
Now, didn't I just show y'all something that looks like a moon base on the top of the moon? It almost looked exactly like what I just showed y'all, that he just showed in this video.
That apparently was in operation until it was destroyed by UR, Soviet Union. So what other information exists besides this document, showing that something strange is and has been happening on the moon? There's a lot of information, so it's hard to know where to begin. First of all, the idea of bases on the moon has been an open discussion within the government for a long time. Although the information isn't easy to find, it's definitely out there. A document from the government's own publishing office is a great example. It clearly shows one of the goals of the United States government is to build a base on the moon. And this is as far back as 1966. A portion of the document reads, regarding Presidents Kennedy and Johnson in a statement by Honorable George P. Miller, I also believe that we can and will achieve the goals set by Presidents Kennedy and Johnson, a manned landing on the moon before 1970. My own confidence in our rapidly advancing science and technology is such that I can visualize many more dramatic achievements ahead, although I will fix no timetable for them. Furthermore, decades-old documents have been declassified discussing this topic, showing how serious and far possible advancements in these intentions have gone. Take a look at the screenshot taken from the CIA electronic reading room in the form of a memorandum that was addressed to the CIA director regarding military thought, top secret, by Lieutenant General N. Koronevsky. Already, interest in the moon is not limited to a study of questions and a discussion of discovered potentialities. Specific projects are being worked out that propose the construction of various structures under the surface of the moon, from the freight compartments of missiles and the employment of various versions of pneumatic structures. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and also various American companies, Martin, Aerospace, etc., are conducting a great deal of work in this direction. This brings to mind another
So you
document.
think about it. You think about now, Bezos, all these rich people, they're making rockets to what? Go out of space right now. That's what they're telling us. Their whole objective is to get to the moon. If they're already making what I just showed y'all, a little video of what seems to be some kind of, because you can't I can't blow it up big enough and I can't get in there good enough to show those actual structures. You can see them basically from the distance because a shadow is always going to tell that there's something really big on that moon. Even if you go outside and you in the sun and you look at your shadow is going to match how tall you are. It's the same thing as an object that's on the moon. Just because the moon is there doesn't mean the sun doesn't reflect off it. That's why we can see the moon. The moon is just an object in the sky. It doesn't reflect anything. It's just basically like an orb. The sun is the reflection that gives us the light from the moon. The moon is not reflecting any light. If you think that the moon is reflecting something, is projecting something, it's not. It's reflecting from the sun, that we can only see the front part of the moon. It may rotate just a millimeter, thousandths of an inch every so often. We don't know, because we don't know too much about the moon. We don't know even where the moon came from. Some say the moon may be a satellite. We don't know. But as humans, guaranteed, we are conquerors. We tried to conquer that. It didn't work out.
From WikiLeaks, email sent to politician John Podesta from Dr. Edgar Mitchell, Apollo 14 astronaut, and Dr. Carol Rosen. It reads as follows. Dear John, because the war in the space race is heating up, I felt you should be aware of several factors as you and I scheduled our Skype talk. Remember, our nonviolent ETI from the contiguous universe is helping us bring zero-point energy to Earth. They will not tolerate any forms of military violence on Earth or in space. The following information was shared with me by my colleague Carol Rosen, who worked closely for several years with Wernher von Braun before his death. Carol has worked on the Treaty on the Prevention of the Placement of Weapons in Outer Space, attached for your convenience. A declassified report by the Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center from June 1959 shows just how seriously they considered a plan called Project A119. In general, they wanted to investigate the capability of weapons in space and gain further insight into the space environment and the detonation of nuclear devices within it. Interesting, to say the least, but it's essential to recognize the intentions behind the letter. That is, the recognition that humans have brought and will continue to bring their destructive ways into space by weaponizing it or attempting to weaponize it. With all of this documentation, it's also interesting to look into witness testimonies from credible sources. In the 1950s, Colonel Ross Dedrickson was responsible for maintaining the inventory of the nuclear weapons stockpile for the AEC, and accompanying security teams tested.
And what they're talking about now is that as a planet, we were trying to nuclearize the moon. We already got nuclear potential on this earth. We were trying to nuclearize the moon and the extraterrestrials because, we use that alien word a little, too much. Alien can be used, anything is an alien. We call Mexicans that come over to our place illegal aliens. We use that. Extraterrestrial is something different. Extraterrestrial, we know that is not from our planet, period. They wasn't going to allow that. That's why I think we ain't been back to the moon in 50 years. Because we knew they were already up there occupying that shit for centuries. We just haven't hit the whole, it's just like us. We haven't explored the whole moon. We've scanned it, just like we've scanned Antarctica. But we ain't been not even 3/4 of Antarctica. We don't know shit about Antarctica. Period, point blank. Antarctica is basically an unknown planet to us. Nobody, out of all the continents on Earth, Antarctica is the only part of the Earth that's not controlled by no nation. There's nations that have buildings or certain what would you say, exploratory positions in Antarctica, but nobody controls Antarctica. Period, point blank. Because Antarctica is unknown. You just can't fly anywhere in Antarctica and just land a plane. You can land it way off to the south or the north. And one day I'll go into and show you what I mean about Antarctica. You just can't fly a plane and just land in any part of it. It's so massive that we haven't explored. We've probably explored more of Antarctica and this little bit of it than we have of the ocean. Because we can't go anywhere and everywhere in the ocean, just like we can't go any and everywhere in Antarctica. Just like we can't go any and everywhere on the moon.
The security of the weapons, among many other duties. When it comes to weaponizing space, which is clearly outlined within multiple documents linked above, this is what he had to say. I also learned about incidents involving nuclear weapons, and among these incidents were a couple of nuclear weapons sent into space that was destroyed by the extraterrestrials. At the very end of the 70s and the early 80s, we attempted to put a nuclear weapon on the moon and explode it for scientific measurements and other things, which was unacceptable to the extraterrestrials. They destroyed the weapon before it got to the moon. Dedrickson is one of the hundreds of whistleblowers with verified, credible, and impressive backgrounds to speak up about an extraterrestrial presence. In that same interview, he went on to state that a spacecraft went to the rescue of Apollo 13, and they accompanied Apollo 13 on their voyage around the moon back to Earth. And on 2 occasions, they thought they might have to transfer the crew to their spacecraft, but they saw them safely back to Earth. This may explain why several astronauts have also been quite outspoken about an extraterrestrial presence, like Edgar Mitchell, Brian O'Leary, Story Musgrave, Gordon Cooper, and many others. Another document from 1965 regarding the CIA keeping tabs on Soviet space plans reads as follows. The Soviets have additionally stated their intention to establish a lunar base subsequent to manned lunar landing, but no significant details or meaningful timetables have been revealed. If Soviet manned lunar landing is undertaken as a follow-on to extensive Earth orbital operations and instrumented exploration of the moon, it is likely that they will enjoy some advantages in the establishment of a lunar base. such an approach would allow for the concurrent development of the technology of lunar transportation and that of maintaining man in space for extended periods. It is possible that a late lunar landing may be followed rapidly by the establishment of a Soviet base on the moon. Keep in mind, this was more than 50 years ago. The following is an interesting quote from Carl Sagan. It is not out of the question that artifacts of these visits still exist, or even that some kind of base is maintained, possibly automatically, within the solar system to provide continuity for successive expeditions. Because of weathering and the possibility of detection and interference by the inhabitants of the Earth, it would be preferable not to erect such a base on the Earth's surface. The moon seems one reasonable alternative. We don't hear about black budget programs or about people who have looked into them. However, the topic was discussed in 2010 by Washington Post journalists Dana Priest and William Arkin. Their investigation lasted approximately 2 years and concluded that America's classified world has become so large, unwieldy, and secretive that no one knows how much money it costs, how many people it employs, how many programs exist within it, or exactly how many agencies do the same work. Our world is not how it's been presented. Many subjects once, and that still are deemed as a conspiracy, are not a conspiracy. Strange things happening on the moon and UFOs, for example, are one of several great examples. It's okay to explore these things, but it's vital that we examine good sources and present good sources when we do so.
And so we reached out to him and invited him to come to those events, and he politely declined and told us that it was made very clear to him and the other Apollo astronauts who witnessed this first event, where when we landed at the crater on the moon, the rim at the top of the crater was, quote, crowded with UFOs, the craft that were up there, multiple of them, and that these were filmed. I know people personally who've seen that film.
There was a rectangular area between the factory and the crater Copernicus, 300 meters wide, 400 meters long. Apollo 10 astronauts took a photo of a 1-mile-long object called Castle, which is at the height of 14 kilometers and casts a distinct shadow on the lunar surface. The object seems to consist of several cylindrical units and a large conjunctive unit. The internal porous structure...
You see the shadow on that? I just wanted to, let me back it up just a tad bit. That shadow shows how high that object is, how large it's extending out. It's just like what I showed you on this image map of the moon, of those objects that were in those craters. They give off, even if you know. If you go outside, like I say, and the sun hits you, your shadow is going to show extension of how tall you are. And that's showing exact shadow of it.
And a large conjunctive unit. The internal porous structure of the castle is clearly seen in one of the pictures, which gives the impression that some parts of the object are transparent. As it showed at the brief where NASA castle pictures for the were found at all. They disappeared, even from the list of pictures made by the Apollo 10 crew. Only intermediate images of the object were found in the archives, which unfortunately don't depict the object's internal structure.
We did go to the moon, but some of the footage, it doesn't make sense because the flag is moving. Now, the reason for that, and this is where people say we didn't go to the moon, it was all hoax and filmed in a basement up in New York. The truth is we went, but during the lunar orbiter, going back before the Apollo mission, we actually were circling the Earth taking the first early digital photographs. And as you know from the testimony of Disclosure Project witness Carl Wolf, there were structures on the moon that were artificial. Some were newer and some were very ancient. And so they knew the covert programs, and these images were being downloaded out here at Langley, not the CIA headquarters, Langley Air Force Base, to a compartmented operation run by the National Security Agency that was then sequestered away from the other NASA scientists. But the people running that project, the deep black people, in those projects knew that it was likely we were going to encounter something not of this world or a UFO when we landed. Therefore, they had filmed some footage that they could splice in if something started happening. So during the live transmission, if something started happening, there's a delay that went through this National Security Agency filter, and they could immediately, instantly put in. And that's why there's a couple frames where the American flag is moving. Well, there's no atmosphere on the moon, okay? Which was the one mistake they made in that whole plan. That's the telltale giveaway.
When the Apollo 12 crew landed on the lunar surface, they saw that the landing was observed by a half-transparent pyramidal object. It was hovering just several meters above the lunar surface and shimmered with all the rainbow colors against the black sky. In 1969, when the film about astronauts traveling to the Sea of Storms was demonstrated, the astronauts saw the strange objects once again, which were later called striped glasses. NASA finally understood what consequences such kind of control could bring. Astronaut Mitchell answered the question about his feelings after his successful return. "My neck still aches, as I had to constantly turn my head around, because we felt we were not alone there. We had no choice but to pray." Johnston, who worked at the Houston Space Center and studied photos and video materials made during the Apollo program, discussed the artifacts with Richard Hoagland and said that the NASA leadership was awfully annoyed with the significant number of bizarre, to put it mildly, objects on the moon.
And so when they stepped out, of course, and we're approaching actually, before they even landed, they saw them. So they were already with this sort of pre-prepared film that looked very, very good, except for this one error. And so Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin know for a fact. Now, Neil Armstrong said, look, if I were to go forward and talk about what actually happened, I've been told, Neil Armstrong said this to us, that my wife, my children, and my grandchildren would all be killed, that they would take us out somehow, some terrible accident.
And that's that video on that. And that's the moon. As I said, we've been to the moon. They did some fucked up shit on the video, cutting of it. But I have to explain some of the shit that we're seeing nowadays in our skies, orbs. The government, you must understand, the government has not explained, other than the balloon, the China balloon that they shot down. They haven't still produced the evidence of the 3 orbs that they shot down after that. And like I said, when I brought this video up, let me bring it up one more time before I get up out of here. This was something that I found. This is something just totally different. But it also, if you look at that video, some of this here looks really peculiar on the south side or the north side of the top of the moon on the back side. This here definitely looks like some form of buildings. May not look to you. Hey, I'm not saying that it's to everybody. I move too fast. Can't move too fast on this. Remember, I just talked about the shadows. Look at this shadow. You see this white object? Look at the shadow going out. Strange as shit to me. These are in craters that, like I said, that's on the top of the moon. This here. You have to excuse me when you move too fast on this video. It kind of messes up. But if you look at that, does that not look like buildings? Look at the shadows. Where are those shadows coming from? They're coming from these white objects. Look how far that extends out. That means that these are really tall. What is this here? That looks like some type of uh, smoke pipe. Look at this shadow. It goes all the way to out here. If I move over here, like I said, this, even if you look at it, just take it for what it's worth. Move that. We back out just a tad bit. If that doesn't look like a building in front of you, this doesn't look like projects over here, look like a bridge over here. And if you look at it, damn near looks like a city. Just take your imagination or your eyes. That's all I'm asking you. Open up your mind. You know, hey, been on here an hour. Didn't want to stay longer than that. I just wanted to give you that information on this interstellar object that's in our atmosphere, and what they're trying to do on the moon, and have we already begin to occupy some parts of the moon, or somebody in the race, whether it's Russia, whether it's China, whether it's America, or maybe just extraterrestrials. The question you need to ask is why we haven't been back to the moon in 50 years. And now all of a sudden, all these rich folks, Bezos and the rest of them, are giving these rocket trips close enough to the moon. Another thing you need to ask, why is the space station up there? Is that just a halfway point to the moon? Do they use the space station? We don't know what they do on the space station. We don't even know if they stay on that space station the whole time. Are they using that space station to another jump to get to the moon? They may have another rocket or another ship or something that they use to get to the moon from that space station, because it would be easy if you go to the space station, go around the Earth multiple times and say, hey, we need to go back here, because they're on there for maybe a year. Who's to say that they're not on the moon for 6 months of that? Because they don't show us that they're on the space station that whole 365 days a year. But I appreciate everybody that stopped through. Archangel, appreciate you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Monique, as always, I appreciate you stopping through. Miss 702, Any God Slick, Yahoo's Chosen, Kev's Clubhouse, Get 'em Jank. Man, I appreciate everybody. I hope y'all hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel. If you see this on the repeat, hey, anything that you have to say, man, just go on and put it in the comments down below. This is my platform. I love to do this. I love to talk about things like this, man. I'm trying to come on more and more often. You know, sometimes it's hard. I got to get into that groove. I put out a lot of videos, shorts, and whatnot on this YouTube shit. But I love this UFO conversation. And like I say, look up. Look up. When you do see it, if you don't like it, you can just say, when you do see it, man, that nigga Goob did say that shit. You know what I'm saying? Until then, till the next time, peace, man. To all my Pomona homies, you know what it is. Straight out of 778, South Side. But shout out to my West Side niggas that I fuck with, my North Side niggas, my East Side niggas, Pomona in the house. We representing on this YouTube shit. Until next time, peace. I'm out of here.